talk about how customer experience and employee experience can properly blend together to bring your company the business outcomes you're looking for. To get started with this very interesting and important topic for every company, first I'd like to invite someone very important to us because it has been a very long-term partner of RingCentral. It's British Telecom. The person we're inviting on stage today is actually coming directly from the headquarters, London office. He's been working for the past 20 years in multiple leading technology companies in the UK, in the UC and IP voice industry, and he is right now heading the cloud channel UC portfolio for BT Enterprise. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me warmly welcome on stage Rajesh Janabala.
So, okay. So, to understand a little bit about BT's journey into CX and EX, we have to look a little bit back as to where we came from. So, we're an old company. If you don't know, 150 years old. It was our birthday last year. And we've done a lot of things. Voice is an important pillar of our business. But we do a lot more now. And a lot of our customers trust us. We have millions of business customers across the range, from SME, very small single traders, to the very, very large, and everything in between. So, for all intents and purposes now, we're a technology company. We do IoT, we do voice, we do networks, we do really interesting things with the medical organisation, government, and a variety of other areas as well. Now, our journey begins about 6 years ago. 6 or 7 years ago, we realised that something was occurring that we couldn't avoid it. And it's called digital transformation. And it was a wave. And it was a wave that was sweeping across our industry, our customers. And it was something that we couldn't ignore. And we had to look at ourselves and think, how do we transform? So we hadn't really. We had 45% market share in the UK, millions of business customers using legacy products, great revenues, didn't have to do much, not much changes, fantastic, really. But we knew we had to change because our customers were demanding this and they were beginning to change. So at the time, our CEO, Gavin Patterson, made a very bold statement. He put a stake in the ground and he said, you know what, we're going to change. And in 10 years' time, by 2025, we're going to get rid of all of our PSTN, all of our telephony lines that have been there for decades, and we're going to make everything IP. Yeah. I thought, fantastic. This is a little bit more than a statement of intent, right? It was a call to arms. It was a call to arms for BT. We are going to change, and we're going to change from the inside out. And we're starting at the very top. And that was exciting to hear, because for an organisation of 130,000 people, change is a very difficult thing. Really, really difficult. And it takes time. So when we heard this in the voice area, we thought, oh, fantastic. And our first reaction was, yeah, we panicked. We really just panicked. Out and out. No, we didn't. We did what we do, which is we worked the problem. We understood what the opportunity was for our customers, for ourselves, how we wanted to change and change that experience. But we knew, look, when you're the size that you are, you've got to understand, can you make this change occur yourself, or do you need help? Could you look to partner to achieve that goal? And clearly, we've built ourselves out of lots of situations. Big organisation, right? So lots of smart people, lots of R&D. But this time it was different. This time we wanted to take a different approach. And so we decided, okay, we're going to cast the net out for one kind of clear reason. When we looked at the partners and suppliers that we worked with today, a lot of these organisations were in the same position as us. They hadn't transformed yet. And we were in the midst of transforming. So for us, we wanted something different to help us achieve that. And so the idea of partnership is born for us, and it's an operative word, partnership, because it means a lot more than someone giving you something. It really means shared values, shared goals, a little bit like marriage. And so for us, we went through a long and arduous process of selecting someone we felt that had those right goals, those right values, those shared instincts. So that journey took us to RingCentral. Now, when we first found RingCentral, you look at them and you think, born into the cloud, cloud native, software as a service. This is a company that's the antithesis of BT. We're legacy. We've got millions of customers on legacy infrastructure. RingCentral, well, they're a child of digital transformation. They were born out of this need for speed, for agility, and from the cloud. And that's exactly what we needed. And it's exactly what they needed from us. Because the one common steel thread that we both shared was a real need and desire for customer experience, to change that customer experience. Because it never been changed before, not in the way that we needed it to occur. It was going to be revolutionary. We had millions of customers. So to make that statement that we're going to transform millions of customers in 10 years was no easy task. So we sat down, we started with a blank piece of paper, and we worked out the problem that we wanted. So for us, step one was acknowledge you had a problem. Yeah, tick in the box, we did that, we had a problem. Step two, deciding you can't do everything yourself. Yep, we did that as well. Step three, finding the right partner. We did that with RingCentral. Now comes the hard part. Step four, know your customer. And we've had such long relationships with our customers. Some of these customers have been with us decades because they trust BT, trusted brand. They know that we will be there when they need help. So we went back to basics with RingCentral, with our partners, to sit down with our customers to understand what their needs were. And so in 2015, after 9 months of research, iteration, testing, and working with some of these customers, we launched into the SME area. Now, we deliberately selected the SME area for us because, firstly, it's one of the largest segments in the UK. Secondly, for us, it's also a segment that hadn't digitally transformed yet. Right? These are customers that were localized businesses, hairdressers, local coffee shops. They provided a service to a local community, and they hadn't had the power of digital transformation hit them yet. But we wanted to be that partner to do that for them and with them. Because if you're not moving forward, you're standing still. And we didn't want to be an anchor anymore while the digital wave passed us and customers by. So we launched in 2015 our product called Cloud Phone with RingCentral. Really successful. But the interesting part of this was, even getting to the point of doing the development of the product, we had to fundamentally change our service experience. So our people had to have a completely different journey and a different mindset. We had to start from scratch. So we looked at our own internal organization to understand, well, the employee experience now has to change. We can't just transform the end user experience. How do we serve them? These are customers that had a telephone and a phone. We're now saying we can replace them with something that's going to blend with your work calendar, that's going to never let you miss a call, that's going to route calls to other areas, to do a multitude of things for your business that you've never known existed. And so we had to understand, well, how do we do that? We worked again closely with RingCentral to understand how we can train out our own sales staff and our own internal staff to work with customers. The level of engagement was the thing that really surprised us, because this went up almost exponentially for us. And we began learning. So following the launch, we began iterating the product really quickly at a pace that we've never done before. And this part and parcel is what digital transformation gives you, that ability to, in an agile way, change very, very quickly, because the customers know it. And we were able to step up to that. Now, fast forward 2 years, in 2015, we had great success with cloud firm called RingCentral. But we knew we were getting demand from other areas. And we decided we are now going to go after our very large organizations, really large enterprises, the public sector, the customers that are demanding, the customers that are complex, the customers that we have to handcraft the solution for. And again, we started from the beginning. We went back to basics to understand what the customer's problem was, to sit down and map this out. Because the experience and the journey, again, was very different. It's a different market, they had different expectations. And from the product, we had to learn and present different perspectives. Again, this is where partnership really played its part. Because between us, we were able to take the best that we needed to provide for the customer. The other part was really interesting in the very large spaces. Our customers had very strong opinions. They were not shy in holding back as to what their expectations were. And the key reason for that is, unlike the scenario at the time, a lot of these very large businesses were already midway through their transformation, internally and externally. And so their levels of expectation were incredibly high. Now, consumerization had driven this. We've all seen how technology's transformed our own lives in the last 10 years, and that seeped its way into business very, very quickly. And so, we launched, after a year in 2018, a product called Cloud Work. Now, just to explain our experience with Cloud Work, I called up a customer here, Nordics, soon-to-be projects, an amazing organization, really, really interesting, driven, forward-thinking. And we worked with their head of CX to really understand, to shape what they needed. Because they themselves were completely going from scratch and restarting their own journey and experience with their end customers. They were redesigning this from the perspective of brand partners. Billion in revenue, turnover, almost 6,000 employees. This is a fairly large-sized organization. So again, we sat down with RingCentral, with ourselves, to work what the customer wants to have here. What's the business outcome they require? This had nothing to do with the product. This had everything to do with the experience that they wanted. And that's where we started, and that's where we ended. Now, the journey with NeoPost hasn't ended. They're a customer of ours, legacy, that's transformed themselves now with the Cloud Work product. They've taken the next iteration of the product, because again, the feedback was live for us. And over the months, we developed the product with their help and their support. And that's taken us to a level of understanding of not only the customer experience, but the employee experience as well, because we've had to continue to change that. And what's really important for us is we've invested in our own people a great deal. And what's come out of that, and a lot of you guys here are going to know this, but once you crack that employee experience, the customer experience, just blend with it. Take care of the people, they take care of the business. And that's exactly what we found. We were driven more internally as we were externally. We were finding our own service people telling us, this is how we can improve. What if we did this? What if we did this? For the first time, we were able to implement those changes at a pace that we've never been able to do before. So, let's talk a little bit about where we came from. Okay, the history. Understanding the legacy that we've got. The development cycle. This is a slide that I love. It's been used many times. But I feel it hits the mark really, really well. Because it nails exactly how BT used to. There'll be times when we could get out a product that partially fulfills what the customer wants. Or we wait all the way through until we have the perfect product. By then you lose the customer's trust. Where we are today, there's no more into this. We now are able to iteratively improve. We are now able to, at speed and pace, fulfill customers' desires and needs. It's very easy for me to stand here and say, well, we've transformed ourselves as a business. Let me tell you what we've exactly done. We've reorganized ourselves from a business perspective. We not only put sales at the heart of our business, we create a direct code structure. We don't do product development now without a sales designer. We use principles, methodologies of human-centered design. So we're grounded and close to our customers. So we understand what we're building and what we're creating. And we test, we research, we talk to our customers, we test with them. And we have an open relationship with them to bring them on board, and they're very willing to help us and be a part of this process. As Neil mentioned, this is an example. But this has, for BT, really revolutionized how we think. And this is in the area of IP commerce, but it's pervasive throughout business. I'll end on one last comment. For us, this entire journey was around moving forwards, because we wanted to help our customers to push forwards. For us, to quote Jules Verne, movement is life. Our transformation work with our partnership with RingCentral and other partnerships that RingCentral have owned within Contact, with Glib and other organizations show that the best of breed for partnerships can provide the best of breed for customer experience and employee experience. With that, thank you for your patience. I'll hand over to Julia. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for that, Rajesh. Thank you for explaining a little bit how you balance the EX and the CX aspect of everything with BT. Now, going back to what we do here at RingCentral, I'd like to take one specific focus. I'd like to talk about customer experience. And I know it's a topic we've been talking about for years, but why is it still an interesting topic? Is because today we live in a digital era and things are moving incredibly fast. I don't know about you guys, but many years ago, I'm not going to give you a number here, many years ago I was in business school. And when you were learning about customer journey, that was really much of a linear kind of journey. You had all the brand awareness, and then you had advertising, and then you had decision making, and then you had purchasing, and then you had after sales customer service. But that was very linear. If you look at the customer journey today, it doesn't look anything like that anymore. Because customer journey today exists in a digital world where you have so many touch points, where you could start a conversation on one channel, talk with a sales in an actual physical store, continue through email, and then have a phone call, and then send a message through WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or iMessage. Maybe you're talking with your brand on Twitter. And all of this becomes so big, so complex, that many companies can't actually keep up with their customers. They don't know what's happening. They don't know who is who. They don't know how to satisfy customers on so many channels, and they don't know how to handle the whole omni-digital customer service that customers tend to expect today. That is the first difference. And there is the second major difference in the customer service environment today. It's about how we look at customer service. We used to have contact centers that were very much company-centric. What I mean by that is, a few years ago, and that's still very true for many companies today, the contact center would be focused on company's needs. We decide the working hours. We decide the channels you should be using. And if by any chance you reach out to the brand by email, but it should be by phone, you're never going to get an answer. We're just going to tell you, please call the hotline. That used to work for quite a few years, and the reason for that is the company knew better because they had the customer's interest at heart, so they were making the hard decision. But today, with this digital environment, customers have the internet and they make their own decisions because they can compare products together, they can compare pricing, they can compare customer experiences, and they make decisions based on their own understanding. So now we are moving from a company-centric style of customer service to a customer-centric style of customer service. What that means is basically we give the power back to the customers. You want to talk about working hours? No, I want to reach your brand 24/7 when it's coming in to me as a customer. You want to talk about channels? No, make it easy for me. I should not follow your processes. I'm the customer. I'm using multiple channels. I want to be able to decide because that's what I'm doing with many other brands. What's important to keep in mind is whichever industry you're in, your main competitor is not your direct competitor when it comes to customer experience. Your main competitor is whoever is offering the best customer service, regardless of the industry. If Uber is incredibly fast, you need to beat that. If Amazon is incredibly responsive, incredibly accurate, you need to beat that. Because that's what customer expectations are all about today. But if there was one key word I would take out of all this, it's probably effortless. Customers don't like to pay efforts. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely don't like to pay efforts as well. I mean, if I'm a customer, if I'm paying, why should I on top pay extra effort to engage with the brand? So what I'd like to talk about today is really not about how to delight your customer. It's not about how to have an outstanding customer experience or how to make the whole experience amazing. Obviously, if you get there, well, fantastic. You reach the top already. But for many companies, it's not even about how to make it amazing. It's just about how to make it as easy as possible, how to make it as simple as possible, how to make it convenient, how to make it effortless for the customer. Your customers, my customers, we're all consumers. We all want to make it easy, and we all want to have a personal relationship with the brand. That's the whole lifestyle, the whole experience we're looking for today. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today is not like a sales pitch where I'm going to explain exactly what our product does. I'm going to try to give you 5 pillars of a true effortless customer experience strategy that you can take away today, because that's what we've seen with so many of our customers around the world. That's what we've seen across multiple industries, and that's what I'd like to share with you guys today. So first step, if we want to talk about effortless, if you want the whole journey to be effortless, let's start with the first step of the journey, which is basically engagement. How do we make sure customer engagement is as simple as possible? Well, the first step is obviously to make it easy to engage, so it means having multiple channels. It doesn't mean being available on every channel, and it means having the right understanding of who your customers are. So in the past day or so, I've heard so many people talk about WhatsApp. WhatsApp is great, WhatsApp is exciting, and it's true in so many countries around the world. But actually, if you look at Sweden, 48% of the population is using Facebook Messenger each and every day. WhatsApp, only 16%. iMessage, 28%. What I'm trying to say here is, it's not just what is a hot channel right now, it's what are your customers using today? And maybe it's Facebook Messenger, when they don't have time in between 2 meetings or just before taking the metro, it's incredibly convenient. Maybe when they have a complex problem they want to explain, hey, you know what? Email is still pretty convenient. Maybe when they have an urgent problem, they face a situation where they really need to talk to someone, voice is still very useful. Not that convenient anymore, but in some situations it's still useful. Maybe live chat is great if I'm on your website. Depending on the time of the day, depending on the type of problem I have, depending on the device I have in front of me at the time the problem occurs, my favorite channel is going to be very different because it's all about convenience. So the whole idea here is not to have one channel, but is to have the right set of channels that your customers embrace and that you can engage with them in the most meaningful possible way. Now that sounds very easy on paper, but it's not that easy to actually do. And the reason for that is, once you have many channels, well, you have to manage them. So when you have to manage multiple channels, and especially when it comes to digital, the first problem you face is you're going to get a surge of messages. You're going to have way more volume than you used to have. Because guess what? All your customers that are not calling you today, it's not necessarily because they don't have a problem. It might be simply because they don't want to pick up the phone. They don't want to hold on the line. They don't want to go through the IVRs. They don't want to have to be transferred to explain who they are over and over again. No one is like a fan of phone anymore. The day you start making it more convenient for customers to reach out to you, you get way more messages. That is a fact. The question is not, can I avoid it? You should embrace customer engagement. The question is, how do I manage it? And the truth about it is, once you start having all the right channels, then you can actually engage with all these channels easily. It's just about how you manage productivity. What we do at RingCentral Engage Digital is really having one platform that aggregates all the different channels, because what we notice is once you have a single platform, then you no longer need to have multiple point products. And what happens then is when there is no tweets on Twitter or no email in the mailbox, those agents are not staying idle anymore. They're actually sharing the whole digital volume with all the agents. You break all the silos. You have a single team of experts now able to manage volume of messages across all channels. You streamline the volume of messages so that you're really on top of your productivity. And what I was saying about channels earlier, and that's incredibly important, it's not just about today. You have to think about tomorrow. We're talking about WhatsApp, we're talking about Facebook Messenger, we're talking about iMessage, and these are great things to be using today. But the truth is, you've definitely heard about Snapchat for a few years. You've heard about TikTok for the past couple of years, probably. No one knows what's going to be the next hot channel that customers will want to engage with. So once you start this effortless strategy, don't stop at today. Try to think, try to have a future vision where you know that something else is going to come up and you're going to have to take it on board as well. Have a vision where you have future-proof and you know you're going to be able to grow with your customers' needs, with your customers' expectations and evolution. Second step of that journey is about 360 view. The thing is, in the digital world, we have such fragmented identities. So my name is Julian Rio, I work for RingCentral, meaning that if you want to reach out to me professionally, you could send me an email, julian.rio@ringcentral.com. If you want to reach out on LinkedIn, type my name, chances are you're going to find me. If you wanted to find me on Twitter, I would actually be handle marketing_JR. To reach out to me on WhatsApp, you'll have to know my private phone number, and so on and so forth. We have so many different digital identities, and that's the same thing for all of your customers. Meaning that when they start reaching out to you throughout multiple channels, you have to be able to recognize who they are. Otherwise, you treat each identity as a separate customer. You have to ask them to identify themselves, to explain their problems over and over again. That builds frustration for the customer, but that also additional time wasted for the agent, for the contact center. And we all know in a contact center, time is money. So if you want to get to that personalized approach where you really satisfy your customers and increase your productivity, you're going to have to find out who these people are. You're going to have to find ways to really merge the different digital identities to have a unique profile per customer, so that whenever the customer reaches out to you, regardless of the channel that is convenient to him at this specific stage, you're going to be able to satisfy him and personalize your conversation. Step 3 of that journey is all about engaging at scale. So what I said earlier was, you open new channels, that's great, but you get new volumes of messages. So the first thing is, if you streamline everything, unify your communication, you're going to be more efficient. But that's probably not enough. We've all heard about all the buzzwords about AI and chatbots and everything. That doesn't solve 100% of your problem, but that's actually a key to some of the solutions you're going to need to be able to handle this volume of messaging. I'm going to talk about 3 different types of AI that reach out, that can help you at different stages of the journey, but that can really make a difference. The first one, here on the right, is what we commonly call customer-facing artificial intelligence, or chatbot. Everyone heard of that? It's artificial intelligence that's going to help you very efficiently when it comes to level 1 type of interactions. Typical examples, I lost my password, I don't know where to download my latest invoice. This kind of things, a chatbot is great for it. You don't need to have an agent. And in some situations, that can represent a very large volume of your incoming messages. Having a chatbot there would actually help you take away a large portion of the job that your agents are doing today, so they could focus on more value-added type of interaction. The second type of AI I like to talk about is agent-facing artificial intelligence. What that means is the same concept as a chatbot, except that it's talking to your agent instead of talking to your customer. And what that does is it gives your agent all the knowledge they need to respond easily, quickly, and accurately to your customers. That increases productivity on one side and customer satisfaction on the other side. When you have this plus that, you actually end up with a solution that means you are faster, more efficient, your agents are more satisfied, but in the same time, your availability is much higher. Because with artificial intelligence, the beauty of it is you move from working hours to virtually being available 24/7. And the third type of AI, which is my favorite one, is when you put AI at the core of your distribution engine, meaning that every message coming in goes through AI to analyze the content, and the context of every single message so that you allocate each message, regardless of the channel, to the right agent, currently available, that has the right competency to satisfy your customer, whether it's about billing, technical issue, or whatever else. You allocate messages automatically to make sure that you manage the most important messages first, and you streamline your processes to really remove the burden and be more productive using your contact center. Then we move to step 4. Step 4 is the effortless journey, is about remembering that digital customer experience is not a silo. It really lives and breathes within the entire ecosystem. What I mean by that is the traditional contact center will have between 8 and 12 different tools. Like your CRM, I'm talking about your PI, your voice solutions, your chatbot, your WFO, your WFM. Just call it. There are so many tools out there. But if you want it to work efficiently, you're going to have to take an open platform approach, meaning you're going to have to select solutions that connect with one another. Because once things are integrated together, you no longer have redundant data. You no longer have outdated data. You don't have any lack of data. You just have efficient data that's flowing across your ecosystem, that you have the right vision, the right information. And most importantly, your agents have the full information when it comes the time to actually satisfy them and respond to their inquiry. And I'm getting to the last step of that effortless journey. The 5th one, I keep it for the end, but that might actually be the most important one here. It's about remembering that customer service is not just a department. We are all part of customer service. It's really a team effort. Whether you are IT, admin, finance, marketing, sales, customer service, and so on, we are all here to satisfy the customers because at the end of the day, well, they are paying our salaries. And once we keep this in mind and we try to work on the EX aspect of things, satisfying our employees, not just with programs, which are great, but also making sure they are equipped properly, making sure they can communicate efficiently, making sure they don't necessarily have to run from one office to the other to discuss, making sure they have all the technologies they need to communicate together and be satisfied with their work and be productive. Well, as soon as you get that, your employees are satisfied, they're going to feed it back to satisfying your customers, and you then build a virtuous cycle where one side feeds the other and you actually get everyone satisfied for the greater benefits of your own company.